Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
You know, it's a cold, dark day in November, and we're at Playmakers, and we're with Dick Beardsley, who really makes a cold, dark night just as cheerful and bright as it could possibly be. It's so good to see you, Dick.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here again, and good to see you again.
Dick, you're always on to something new, and this time, I understand, you are doing the good form running as part of New Balance, and I understand you've always had it, but now you're doing it on 2 new knees. How on earth do you do that?
Well, you know, I've been very fortunate. I always have been a midfoot striker way back in my younger days even, so I've been very fortunate, and then through not running, but I injured my knees, one in a farming accident, other one got a bad infection. They had to end up having 2 total knees within the last 3 years. And my doctor, of course, they're going to tell you, you know, you shouldn't run on them because it's going to wear them out quicker. But he knew I was going to at least give it a try. So I went out and I got back and started running on them. And I remember going in after about the first year of having them done. And the doc comes in and he says, so how much running are you doing? And I go, well, first I want to know, how do the x-rays look? And he says, I got to tell you, Dick, your knees look like the day I put them in. He says, they look perfect. And I go, really? And then he says, how much are you running? And I said, well, 70 to 80 miles a week. And he about fell off his stool. And then he looked at me and he says, I'm not going to tell you to keep running on them. But then his next sentence was, I'm not going to tell you to stop. And that was, from an orthopedic doctor, that's all like a full-pledged endorsement.
That's all you needed to hear.
It was all I needed to hear. I didn't even need to hear that. But he says there's 2 things you got going for you. One is you don't have any excess body weight, which is good. And then 2, you know, you've explained to me how you run midfoot. He says there's no question that's the reason you're able to run on these artificial knees. You're not smacking your heel into the ground, and because when you do that, all that force comes up into the knee, where I still get some force, but not near as much as if I'd be striking my heels. So it's all good.
Well, Dick, way back 30 years ago or so, when you were setting a new PR for 13 marathons in a row, did you think about form?
Never. I'd never talked or thought about form until just recently. My good friend Kurt Munson from Playmakers, who kind of got the good form running all going here a few years ago, he says, Dick, you're natural at this. And then, you know, when I go back and I hear some of the footage and the sound from the 82 Boston Marathon, and my coach Bill Squires, and he's told me recently that, you know, you just glide. You just glide. He says, of all the people I've coached, you're the smoothest runner I've ever had. And I never even thought about it like that. People have asked me over the years, you know, you run differently. You run more midfoot. And how did you learn to do that? And I go, I didn't learn how to do it. It just came to me naturally. So I'm very, very blessed with it coming naturally like that.
Well, so how do you pass on the tip to somebody who's trying to achieve a good form?
It's pretty simple. You know, I know, you know, Playmakers here puts on clinics, and New Balance now is, with Grant Robinson, is going around the country putting these on, and I'm going to hopefully be a part of that here very, very soon. But it's pretty simple. It's all about, you know, you're shortening your stride. It's about your cadence. You want to have at least 180 strides per minute, and I'm about almost around 200, to be honest with you, so I'm a little higher. And it's about posture, you know, and it's about kind of leaning forward from the ankle, and it's pretty basic stuff, and it's very easy to pick up. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, I've been running for 25 years, I could never learn a new way to run. But I tell you, I've got a couple of people, one a neighbor of mine, she was having some problems with her backside, and she noticed me running one morning. She says, you just seem to glide along. She says, what are you doing? I go, well, it's called this good form running. So I kind of showed her quickly how to do it. She's been doing it now for 3 weeks. It literally took her problems away. She feels faster, running quicker, more efficiency with less effort. And then another friend of mine, Tim Rhodes, who owns some running specialty stores in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was just down there, and he said, Dick, I started doing this good form running about 2-3 weeks ago, and this half-mile loop that we do repeats on, I used to run them around 3:05 to 3:10. He says, now when I do them, they're all under 3 minutes, and it seems at an easier effort because he's now doing more midfoot type striking. So it's amazing.
Well, it's amazing to think about it, but here's my question about cadence. What does it have to do with speed?
Well, here's the thing. When if you hear coaches, and my high school coach, I remember saying, stride out, elongate your stride. And when you do that, you're putting your foot out in front of you, so you have no choice other than to land on your heel. Where I land, my feet land right below me. So when I'm running, so to do that though, you have to have a little shorter stride, but your cadence is quicker, so you can still run as fast, if not faster, but you're not getting that heel strike, which keeps you midfoot, which actually is good because then you're not going to get friction on the shoes and into your feet, and it's going to wear the shoes even less.
So when you want to go faster, if you're doing, say, a mile instead of a marathon, do you just try to pick up that cadence and go faster? Do you get higher off the ground with more turnover?
That's a good question. My cadence is pretty much the same whether I'm running a 9-minute mile or now.
9-minute mile? When did you run a 9-minute mile?
When I'm starting out, I'm like the Kenyans now. I start out very slow, or a 5-minute mile. Okay. And the only difference is that it may appear that I'm striding out more because I'm going faster. My cadence stays up there, but I'm still landing. When my feet come down, they're right below me. They're not out there where I'm striking my heel.
Did you have to start thinking about it when you got your 2 brand new titanium knees?
And that's another great question. I didn't. I just, when I first started running after the new knees, I was running 12, 14-minute pace, because it was just...
that sounds familiar.
It just, I had to build up those muscles back up. But now I'm running what I was pre, new knees, and I just got back out there, and now it's just like before. I don't even notice my knees anymore. They're just like having regular knees. And now, when I say all this about my new knees, I want to also let folks know that I'm sure not recommending people with a new knee or 2 new knees go out and run 80 or 90 miles a week. I just happen to be very fortunate that the way I run it enables me to do that. But if you've got a passion for running, if you've been told you can't ever do it again, but you've got some new knees, you know what? If you learn to run more efficiently and do this good form where you're up more midfoot, it's amazing what a person might be able to do.
Well, I was wondering, it's almost 30 years since the famous Duel in the Sun that you had with Alberto Salazar in Boston, and you're going back and you're training for it again?
I am. I'm so excited. When I made the decision a few months ago to run Boston for the 30th anniversary, I didn't want to just go and run it. I wanted to go and try to be competitive in that 55 to 59 age group. And so I started, I write my own training program, and I follow it as close as I can. But I tell you, I haven't been this excited about getting ready for a race since I was 30 years ago when I decided to run Boston. So every mile I run now, every mile, even the races I do now, every mile is to get ready for next April 16th for that Boston Marathon. And God willing, I'll be on that start line and things will go well.
So do you want the hot weather you had 30 years ago, or would you rather have something cooler? You're a Texas guy now.
I am. I'll be honest with you. The hot weather's never bothered me, and actually now my knees loosen up a little quicker. Not that they need a lot, but the warmer weather seems kind of good for them. But given that day or a day that would be about 20 degrees cooler, I'd much rather have the cooler weather, that's for sure. But you know what? That's the one thing us runners have no control over. So I'll be ready to go whether it's hot or whether it's cold.
Well, Dick, it's always inspiring to talk to you, and this is especially inspiring. There are absolutely no excuses for people who want to get out and run, are there?
Well, there really isn't. And when I hear people say, I don't have the time or this or that, I'm thinking, no. That is not an excuse. You can make time. Like for me, I travel a lot. So before I came out here to Kurt's store the other day, I was up at 2:15 to get my first run in for the day. But that's me. I get up at 4 o'clock anyhow, so, an hour and a half earlier, what the heck? It's not that big of a deal. But no, if you really want to do it, you can make time and you can work it into your schedule. No question about it.
Well, Dick, it's great to see you in Michigan, and we really look forward to seeing you in Massachusetts come April 19th or whatever that day is.
April 16th.
16th. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much for the interview again.
You're welcome, Dick. Thanks.